Today is the 12th press conference of China in the Past Decade series, and we have with us Mr. Zhao Chenxin, Vice Chairman of the National Development and Reform Commission, to give you briefing on fully, faithfully, and comprehensively apply the new development philosophy and promote high-quality development. We also have Deputy Secretary Generals of the NDRC with us, Mr. Su Wei, Mr. Oh Hong, and Mr. Yang Yinkai. Now, opening remarks from Mr. Zhao Chenxin. Friends from the media, good morning. It's a great pleasure for my colleagues and I to be here with you and give you a briefing on the changes and achievements in China's economic development over the past decade. Since the 18th National Party Congress, in face of changing international environment and multiple risks and challenges, the CPC Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, has united and led the entire party and nation, followed the guidance of Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era, coordinated the implementation of five-sphere integration plan, and promoted comprehensive progress on four fronts. We have followed a general guideline of seeking progress while maintaining stability, grounded our efforts in the new development stage, and fully, faithfully, and comprehensively implemented the new development philosophy, fostered a new development paradigm, and promoted high-quality development. We have deepened supply-side structural reform, coordinated development and security, responded the once-in-a-century pandemic and unseen changes in the world with composure, completed the tasks of reform and development and stability. Historic changes have taken place in various undertakings, and new historic achievements have been made in reform, opening up, and modernization of Chinese style. We completed the building of a moderately prosperous society and made absolute poverty a thing of the past. The first centenary goal was achieved, and we have embarked on a new journey toward fully building a modern socialist country and meeting the second centenary goal. The past decade has seen Chinese economy moving to a new stage. As we shift to high-quality development, we have explored new ways to and improved macro regulation. The Chinese economy has been growing in quantity and has made steady progress in terms of quality. China's GDP increased from 53.9 trillion yuan in 2012 to 114.4 trillion yuan in 2021. Its share in the global economy surged from 11.3% in 2012 to 18% in 2021. GDP per capita jumped from $6,300 to over $12,000. Productive results have been made in building China's innovation capacity. In 2021, China's innovation index ranked 12th in the world, and in some important areas, many historic leaps and bounds have been made. We have made steady progress in major regional development strategies, and steady progress has been made in the strategy of rural revitalization. A new type of urbanization is also making progress, and the potential of coordinated urban-rural development and among different regions is also being unleashed. The past decade has also seen new vistas for China's reform and opening up. With a focus on reforming the economic system, we have comprehensively deepened reform, and the socialist market economy system is better established. We have been making steady progress in building a high-standard market system. The institutions for market-based resource allocation is more developed. A unified national market is taking shape. The basic systems and institutions in property protection, property rights protection, market access, fair competition, and social credit is also making progress. A market-based and international business environment governed by a sound legal framework is taking shape. We signed more than 200 Belt and Road Cooperation documents with 149 countries and 32 international organizations. The China-Laos Railway has been up and running, and large number of projects, including the Jakarta-Bandung high-speed rail, are making steady progress. Trade and investment liberalization and facilitation is rising, and stock of overseas investment has skyrocketed from $600 billion to over $2.6 trillion. We've taken an active part in global economic governance and contributed China's wisdom and China's strength to the building of a community with a shared future. The past decade has also seen an overall improvement in people's lives. We achieved a full victory in eradicating absolute poverty. All the 98.99 million rural poor people that used to live below the poverty line have been lifted out of poverty, which is a miracle in the human history of poverty reduction. Putting people's lives first, we have adopted a COVID response strategy of preventing case import and domestic rebound. The dynamic zero approach has delivered major strategic results in COVID containment. In terms of employment, the quality is also rising noticeably. Each year, more than 13 million new urban jobs are created. Education is also booming. The average education for labor force has reached 10.9 years, and China's human resource strength is rising. Equal services for basic medical healthcare services in urban and rural areas is also improving. The public fitness service system has been basically put in place. The social safety net for providing basic livelihood has been further enhanced. The past decade has also seen marked results in protecting the eco environment. Now, the idea that green mountains and clear waters are mountains of gold and silver are fully appreciated by the people, and we have put in place a basic system of ecological civilization. We have made the solemn commitment of peaking China's carbon emission before 2030 and achieving carbon neutrality before 2060. We have a 1+N policy system for achieving these twin goals. We are also vigorously adjusting the energy structure and promoting green transition. We've been building large-scale wind power and photovoltaic bases. And we have been curbing the unregulated development of high energy intensive and polluting industries. The energy intensity has dropped by 26.2%. We have also been working hard to protect the blue sky, clear water, and clean soil. And the fight against pollution is also making steady progress. We've been coordinating the protection of mountains, rivers, forests, farmland, lake, grassland, and sandy areas. The past decade has also seen comprehensive strengthening of economic security. For the past 7 years running, the grain production has been kept above 650 billion tons. We have basic self-sufficiency in grain and absolute security of essential staples. The capacity to ensure sound energy supply is also making progress. 5G, infrastructure software, new energy vehicles and smart vehicles, and renewable energy have seen breakthroughs in core technologies. We have also made progress in forestalling and diffusing major risks. We have traveled a momentous journey over the past 10 years. Under the guidance of the Xi Jinping thought on economy, China has been moving toward a development that is of higher quality, efficiency, equity, sustainability, and security. China's economic strength, science and technology strength, comprehensive national strength, and international standing have all been steadily rising. With concrete efforts, we have presented a scorecard that has won the satisfaction of the people and recognition from the entire world. In face of the combined impacts of the once-in-a-century pandemic and unseen changes in the world, we do face many challenges in economic and social development. That being said, China is still at a critical period with major strategic opportunities, with more opportunities than challenges. We have the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core. We have the institutional strength of socialism with Chinese characteristics. And we have a solid foundation of economic and social development since reform and opening up, and especially since the 18th National Party Congress. And we have rich experience in terms of regulation in response to various risks and challenges. We have full confidence, resolve, and the conditions to ensure sound, steady, and sustained economic development. So that concludes my opening remarks. Now the floor is open for your questions. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Zhao Chenxin. Now the floor is open for questions. Please identify your media affiliation before asking a question.
我们先第一排吧，这位记者。
Thank you with China Reform and Development Daily. Now, with increasingly challenging internal and external environment, the Chinese economy is facing new downward pressure. Will China be able to achieve the GDP growth target of 5.5%? How would you employ the policy toolbox to keep steady economic performance? I'll have Mr. Oh Hong to take your question. Thank you. Since March, we've seen rising risks and challenges as a result of the pandemic and the Ukraine crisis. The Chinese economy is facing more challenging, severe, and uncertain environment. Stabilizing growth, employment, and prices is facing new challenges. In the face of new downward pressure, we need to work toward the goal of keeping COVID under control, economic stable, and development secure. Our efforts are on the following fronts. First, we need to flesh out and substantiate the policies already rolled out. The Central Economic Work Conference and Government Work Report have already made thorough arrangements on this year's economic work. And recently, the State Council rolled out a package of policy steps. We need to ensure their implementation, work hard to remove the bottlenecks that hold back economic circulation. We need to expand effective demand, beef up support to businesses, stabilize employment, and ensure the supply of essential livelihood goods. We need to further leverage the policies to ensure steady economic performance and make sure that major economic indicators are within a reasonable range. In particular, we need to implement the major projects in irrigation, transportation, and integrated underground pipelines. We need to see that actual work is delivered and also materialize the policies that incentivize consumption in automobile and home appliances. Second, we need to coordinate COVID response and economic development. Now the COVID situation remains challenging. We need to continue with the dynamic zero COVID approach and make our response efforts more targeted in both production and life. We need to review and sum up some of the good experience and practices in certain localities and apply them elsewhere in the country, and avoid oversimplification, a one-size-fits-all approach, and excessive restrictions. We also need to further smooth transportation and logistics, resume production as early as possible, and ensure basic livelihood. Efforts will be made to ensure normal life and production in the context of routine COVID containment to maximize the protection of people's life and health and minimize the impact on economic and social development. We also need to coordinate security and development. We need to have this bottom line thinking and forestall systemic risks. In particular, we need to ensure food and energy security and the stability of industrial and supply chains. At the moment, in terms of agriculture, the land and agricultural technologies need to be further leveraged. And the food or grain production, supply, storage, and distribution system need to be improved. We need to improve the secure, efficient, and clean use of coal and unleash quality coal capacity. We also need to build large-scale photovoltaic and wind power bases in deserts and Gobi areas. In the face of more challenging environment, we will improve our toolbox as appropriate and as needed. The various sides and have been making steady efforts as per the requirement of the Party Central Committee and coordinated COVID response, economic development, and economic security. The efforts have been paying off. In May, the economy has been showing positive signs and major economic indicators have rebounded. More importantly, the Chinese economy enjoys strong resilience, huge potential, and vast room for maneuvering. We have full confidence in overcoming the various challenges and to respond to the challenges that may occur to ensure sound and sustained economic growth. Thank you. With CCTV, the sound and steady development needs policy support, and macro regulation is particularly important. In the past decade, what experience has been made in innovating and improving macro regulation? Going forward, what more efforts will be made to promote high-quality development?
Thank you for your question. Since the 18th Party Congress, in the face of a changing international landscape and new situation and new features of the economy, the Party Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, has adopted a five-pronged approach and advanced the four comprehensives. We have adhered to the general principle of seeking progress while maintaining stability, improved the socialist system with Chinese characteristics and the national governance system, enabled the market to play a decisive role in resource allocation, and have given better play to the role of the government. Such macro regulation policies, which are consistent with the economy and has Chinese characteristics, has continued to be improved. China's macro regulation has become more forward-looking, more targeted, and more effective. As of on innovating and improving macro regulation, we focused on the following. First, we've clarified the role of regulation. Second, we've explored new ways of regulation. Third, We've adopted a proper focus for macro regulation. Fourth, enriched tools for regulation. Fifth, stronger synergy for regulation. I will go through them one by one. First, we've stayed committed to the complete, accurate, and all-round implementation of the new development philosophy to promote high-quality development. We've given full play to the strategic and guiding role of national development plans and strengthened guidance on national development plans with a particular focus on coordinating development with security to firmly guard against any systemic risk. Second, on exploring new ways of regulation, we've adhered to seeking truth from facts and proceeding from reality. We've put stability front and center. We've strengthened targeted and well-timed regulation and fine-tuning. Instead of flooding the economy with stimulus, we've relied more on reforms and innovative methods to bring into play more market forces. On having a proper focus for macro regulation, in light of the principal contradiction we now face in development, we've focused on accelerating the building of a new development paradigm. We've focused on deepening supply-side structural reform and on expanding domestic demand to improve the quality and supply of domestic demand. And with that, we have facilitated the flow of domestic and international circulation of the economy, and more demand has been created on the supply side, and a better balance has been achieved in supply and demand. Fourth, coordinated efforts have been made to stabilize growth, promote reform, adjust structure, improve people's lives, and prevent risks, and maintain stability. China's macro policies are now consistent and stable, and large-scale tax and fee cuts have been implemented. We've developed more structural monetary policy tools and have imposed the loan market quotation interest rate mechanism. With a focus on structural contradictions, we've improved policies on science and technology and environmental protection and industry and regional development. On forging a stronger synergy for regulation, we've strengthened top-down and interdepartmental coordination. Greater attention has been paid to internal and external coordination. We've carried out policy evaluation and preparedness researches. As effective implementation means 90% of successes, we've focused more on delivery. All major plans, reforms, and policies have clear timetables and roadmaps with refined division of responsibilities to motivate greater efforts toward actual delivery. Next, in light of changes in domestic and external environment, we will continue to explore new ways for macro regulation and achieve the sound, steady, and sustained growth of the economy. Thank you. Next question, please. Thank you. A reform of the economic system is key. Since the 80th Party Congress, what progress and results have we made in reforming the economic system, and what will we do next in this regard? Thank you.
Thank you for this question. Since the 18th National Party Congress, under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, we have focused on handling well the relationship between the government and market in economic institutional reform, and decisive results have been made in key areas and links. The system of socialist market economy is better established and more mature. Now, we also made progress in modernizing the governance system. I may cap the achievements with 4 major achievements. First, reform of market entities made new achievements. We have enhanced the top-level design of SOEs and the modern corporate system with Chinese characteristics has made substantial progress in this reform. Companies with mixed ownership have been steadily growing, and the state asset supervision system with a focus on the assets is getting better. The economic environment for non-public sector is steadily improving. Over the past decade, the number of private businesses jumped from 10.85 to more than 44.57, which more than quadrupled. Second, the reform of market system have made new achievements. We have been improving the protection of property rights and established a negative list for market access. And we have also put in place a new regulation or supervision system with credit as the basis. And we're also improving the market system for production factors. That is with the price decided by the market and free flow of production factors. Now we have a strong internal demand market with over 1.4 billion people with 400 million in the middle income group. Third, the reform of macroeconomic governance has also made new achievements. We have a macro regulation system with employment, industries, investment, consumption, environmental protection, and among different regions. Range-based regulation, targeted regulation, discretionary regulation, cross-cyclical and counter-cyclical regulation is more effective and flexible. We have been steadily transforming government functions to improve business environment, and we deepened reform of government administrative review and approval. China's business environment is also steadily improving. The ranking increased from 96 in 2013 to 31st place. Fourth, reform of high standard opening up system has also made new achievements. We have been making coordinated efforts in the free trade pilot zones, and more than 260 items of policy innovation have been applied nationwide. The pre-establishment national treatment plus negative list for foreign investment is now fully in place. Trade facilitation is also improving. Going forward, we'll continue to improve a high-standard market economy basic system. We need to put in place sound institutions to ensure fair competition and establish a social credit system. Second, we'll foster high-quality market entities. We'll improve the Chinese-style modern corporate system, speed up the structural reform of private businesses, support and guide the regulated and sound development of capital, and foster a great number of globally competitive businesses. Third, we'll build a high-standard market system. We will take the pilot as a focus in the market-based factor distribution and build a unified national market. Fourth, we will improve macroeconomic regulation to improve its efficiency. We will strengthen the cross-cyclical macro policy regulation, and all in an effort to ensure the major economic indicators are kept within a reasonable range. Thank you with CNBC. I've got two questions. First, in pursuing high-quality development, what are the achievements in attracting foreign investment? And second, this year we've seen a steady rise in the unemployment of young people, and there are concerns that the Chinese economy will stall. In terms of job creation for young people and preventing a stall of the economy, what are some of the considerations and steps? You've asked two questions. I'll have Mr. Su Wei and Mr. Yang Yinkai to take them both.
First, on foreign capital use. Over the past 10 years, China has been committed to opening up, and important progress has been made on the use of foreign capital. First, the scale of foreign capital utilization has increased. In the past years, China's inbound investment has topped developing countries. In 2021, China's actual use of foreign capital was 1.15 trillion yuan, ranking second in the world, and an increase of 62.9% over 2012. After the introduction of the foreign investment law, we've continued to stay committed to opening up and to protect foreign capital investment, and has provided more sound legal safeguards for foreign investors. Also, China's level of opening up has continued to improve. Over the past 5 years, we've shortened the negative list for foreign investment for 5 consecutive years, and limited items concerning free trade zones have been significantly reduced. As of the financing, mining, and other sectors, a large number of opening up policies have been introduced to attract more foreign businesses to China. We've also improved the foreign investment environment. We've continued to clear out restrictions not included in the negative list, removed relevant restrictions to ensure a level playing field for foreign businesses. As the largest market with a growing amount of foreign investment, China has a sound environment and sustained domestic demand. This is why foreign investment have been optimistic about China's market potential, and they're willing to settle down on the Chinese market and grow with the Chinese economy. Going forward, we will continue to work on the delivery of relevant policies. First, we will revise and expand the catalogue of industries encouraged for foreign investment. In May this year, we've made public a draft on the catalogue for comments, and we've received a large number of good feedbacks from all sectors. We're now working on revising the catalogue. We will further expand and guide foreign investment in key areas such as manufacturing and production services, as well as in key regions such as central, western, and northeastern China. Second, we will promote the implementation of major foreign-funded projects. 5 batches of important major projects have already been implemented, including the Fujian Gulei Ethylene Project and the Shenyang Brilliance BMW No. 3 plant. These are making good progress, and when the time is appropriate, we will introduce a new batch of foreign-funded projects. Third, we will provide better services to foreign investment. We will organize and carry out international industrial matchmaking activities so that both foreign businesses and local government will have more opportunities to interact and to attract investment. Also, we will attend to the concerns and demands of foreign businesses as we can and provide good services for foreign businesses in China. Fourth, we will improve the foreign investment environment. We will continue to fully implement the foreign investment law to ensure that relevant policies are equally applied to foreign enterprises and they have the national treatment. We will continue to strengthen intellectual property rights protection and continue to build a market-oriented, rules-based international business environment. Thank you.
Now, on your second question about the employment for young people, we know that employment is not only a social issue, it's also crucial to the economy. Over the past 10 years, with the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping has pursued a people-centered development philosophy, put employment first, and made strenuous efforts to ensure sound employment. Over the past 10 years, a total of 130 million urban new jobs have been created, which is quite an achievement for a country with 1.4 billion people to achieve fairly sufficient employment. This year, with multiple challenges, especially the COVID pandemic, there has been some pressure, and the 6 priorities and protections on 6 fronts have been implemented. Now, since May, some positive good progress has been made. Going forward, we'll continue to pursue a pro-job policies, flesh out and substantiate the policies, and ensure the sound employment of young people, especially college graduates. First, we need to ensure the sound economic basis for employment. The policy package to stabilize the economy will be materialized as soon as possible, and we need to create more jobs that can enable young people to leverage their intellectual strength. Second, we also need to pursue new type of rural revitalization and encourage college graduates to go back to townships and villages to start to land a job. Second, we need to promote job retention and expansion of market entities. We'll encourage localities to implement the subsidy-based policies to support companies in employing more college graduates. In terms of greater policy support will be given to companies that employ a large number of college graduates. Third, we have special campaigns to encourage employment and entrepreneurship. We'll encourage young people to start their own businesses and to engage in flexible employment. Government-invested startup platforms need to allocate at least 30% of their venue for free of charge for college graduates to start their businesses. Fourth, there needs to be consistent employment services for young people, and the local government institutions, public institutions, schools, and other programs need to better explore opportunities for employment. We'll have large-scale vocational training and give special support to the young people who have special difficulties in landing jobs. Thank you. With 21st Economic Daily, my question is about investment. Over the past decade, what China has achieved in terms of investment. And recent years, we've seen a slowdown of investment growth. How do you see the prospect and potential of investment in the future?
Thank you for your question. Since the 18th Party Congress, in accordance with the decisions of the Party Central Committee, the NDRC has actively expanded effective investment, we've continued to reform institutions for investment and financing, promoted the growth of private investment, and leveraged the role of investment. China's fixed asset investment has saw steady increase, playing important roles to the economy's sustained and sound growth. There are mainly 4 areas. First, investment has achieved steady growth, and investment structure has continued to improve. Statistics show that from 2013 to 2021, total investment in fixed assets was around 408 trillion yuan, an average annual growth rate of about 7%. Investment in the tertiary sector has far exceeded investment in the primary and secondary sectors, with an annual growth rate in the tertiary sector of around 7.6%. Second, we're seeing new highlights as of new drivers for investment. Third, rapid growth in social investment. As of remarkable results made in key areas, a number of major projects have been successfully implemented. For instance, the building of new infrastructure, new urbanization initiatives, and major projects have been accelerated, and the construction of new infrastructure projects such as 5G and data centers have been sped up. The central government fund has supported the creation of 900 million mu of high-standard farmland, and we are seeing rapid growth in investment in education, medical care, affordable housing projects, and ecological conservation. Major projects such as the Beijing Daxing Airport, Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge, the Beijing-Xiong'an Intercity Railway, Central Water Diversion projects have been successfully completed. Major projects such as Sichuan-Tibet Railway and Baihetan Station are making smooth progress. Third, we've introduced laws and regulations, including the government investment regulations and enterprise investment project approval and filing management regulations. We also revised 3 times the catalogue of investment projects approved by the government, which substantially cancelled and decentralized the number of approval items. Also, a new investment project approval and information filing system has been set up with streamlined pre-examination and more efficient approval. We're also setting up a supervision platform connecting 62 departments so that businesses can access services online. We've made it much easier for businesses to carry out investment. Fourth, we are seeing a better environment for private investment. Continued and solid efforts have been made to facilitate private investment. The State Council has issued policies to put idle funds into use and stimulate private investment. Over the past years, the share of private investment has stayed above 55% of overall social investment, making private investment a main force driving investment growth. President Xi Jinping mentioned that we need to effectively expand investment and leverage the key role of investment. We will act on the guidance of President Xi Jinping and focus on the 3 areas. First, we will strengthen infrastructure building and build new infrastructures, make traditional infrastructure projects more effective. We will plan in advance and guide investment to channel to areas where we will build better infrastructure for national development. We will also enhance the competitiveness of infrastructure projects, enhance homegrown innovation, make breakthroughs in key and core technologies to facilitate industrialization. Third, we will shore up weak links related to people's livelihood. We will provide affordable housing and supportive infrastructure and renovate city facilities, including sewage, pipelines, etc. Thank you. Next question, please.
谢谢。封面新闻记者提问：
Since the 18th Party Congress, China has introduced many major strategies for regional development, such as the Tianjin, Beijing, Hebei interconnected development and the Yangtze River Economic Belt. What role have they played, and what will China do going forward?
Thank you. Over the past 10 years, General Secretary Xi Jinping has, with a grand vision and comprehensive plans, personally plan out the development of Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei Integrated Development Plan, the Yangtze River Delta Development, Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area, Yangtze River Delta Integrated Development, and other major regional development strategies. We have fostered a power hub for nationwide high-quality development. For the Beijing-Tianjin Hebei Integrated Development Plan, the alleviating non-capital functions of Beijing has been a focus, and in the Xiong'an New Area, the high-quality development is taking place. Construction is booming there, and the Beijing Municipal Administrative Center is also making progress. Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area is also steadily advancing. The Yangtze River Delta has been growing in terms of innovation and vitality. New results and new fruits have been made in the ecological demonstration area and free trade pilot area in Shanghai. Second, ecological development has been prioritized in regional development strategies. In terms of the Yangtze River protection, we've rolled out the first basin law, and in the Yellow River Basin area, a greater progress has also been made. Third, the regional economic layout has also been featuring high-quality development and complementarity. In different localities, tailor-made measures have been made in terms of protection and development, farming, and growing businesses. Central cities and city clusters are having greater carrying capacity. Main production areas of agricultural produce, main ecological function zones, energy-intensive areas have been making progress in parallel. The revitalization and development of special areas is also making new progress. The same is true for marine economy development. Going forward, we'll continue to work for new progress. First, we'll continue to focus on alleviating the non-capital functions of Beijing, pursue high-quality development of the Xiong'an New Area, and pursue greater progress in the Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei integrated development. Second, we will pay special attention to ecological conservation, make the Yangtze River Economic Belt a focus area of China's green development, smooth international and domestic circulation, and pursue high-quality development in that area. Third, we'll also steadily advance the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area and build an international Bay Area and world city clusters. Fourth, in the Yangtze River Delta, we'll also roll out more major strategic projects. Fifth, we'll steadily advance ecological protection as we pursue high-quality development. Thank you. Thank you. With First Economic Daily, I got two questions. How does the NDRC comment on the price mechanism reform? What more will be done in the future? And second, we've seen huge inflation in European countries and America. How will China ensure price stability of and supply of commodities and essential livelihood supplies?
Thank you for your question. Since the 18th Party Congress, in accordance with the decisions of the Party Central Committee, breakthroughs have been made in the reform of China's price mechanism. I would like to talk about 4 areas. First, we've significantly liberalized government pricing, and a market-based price mechanism has basically been established. The market-based reforms of prices in key areas such as agricultural products, energy resources, and transportation have been carried out. The prices of all agricultural products, 80% of electricity, 50% of natural gas, and 90% of civil aviation transportation are now fully market-based. As of the end of 2021, 97.5% of commodities and services prices in the society are market determined. So the goal laid out in the 18th Party Congress has been achieved. Second, macro regulation has been strengthened and overall price level has remained stable with a focus on important livelihood commodities and bulk commodities. We've established and improved the system of market supply and price stabilization. We've strengthened monitoring and early warning, development of production and sales, etc., to ensure supply and keep prices stable. From 2012 to 2021, China's CPI was up by around 2% every year, playing an important role to ensuring the sound growth of the economy. Third, we will strengthen price supervision and build a reasonable government pricing mechanism. We will set up a list of government pricing items, and this list has been made public. We've also revised government pricing behavior rules, hearing methods, cost supervision, and review methods. We've also introduced measures on price management and cost supervision in the areas of power transmission and distribution, natural gas pipelines, and other fields. And fourth, in order to have the polluters pay and encourage more people to save energy, we've improved price mechanism to promote green development. We've established a progressive tiered system for residential electricity, water, and gas, as well as consumption-based electricity pricing policies for cement and steel industries. We've also focused on green transition to improve the charging mechanism for wind and photovoltaic power generation. In terms of wastewater treatment and sewage, we've also improved the charging mechanism and adjusted relevant standards. As of the issue of important inflation and keep prices stable, since this year we are seeing global inflation hovering at a high level, and the CPI growth of many Western economies have reached a new high. That said, in China, prices have stayed within a reasonable range, and the CPI in May went up 2.1% year-on-year, significantly lower than other major economies, showing the great resilience of China's economy, the effect of China's macro regulation, and the resilience of China's pricing mechanism. Going forward, due to geopolitics and other factors, China may continue to face pressure on imported inflation. That said, with sufficient supply and an ample policy toolbox, we are confident, capable and capable to maintain stable prices. President Xi Jinping have instructed many times to keep prices of key commodities stable. Going forward, we will act on such instructions and do the following. First, we will make every effort to ensure the steady supply and price of important commodities related to people's livelihood. We will stabilize production and supply, strengthen the link between production and sales, leverage the role of reserves, and ensure the production of grain, oil, meat, eggs, milk, fruits, and vegetables, which are key commodities to the people. We will, of course, also focus on regulation regarding live pigs to avoid big price fluctuations in this regard. Second, we will speed up efforts to ensure to improve coal production, supply, and storage, and keep coal prices within an appropriate range. We will also improve coal market price mechanism and to keep coal prices within an appropriate range. We will also strengthen market supervision, exercise and intensify joint supervision of futures, and crack down on illegal acts such as hoarding and price gouging, and resolutely curb excessive capital speculation. Next question, please. Thank you. From Phoenix News. Now we are seeing growing uncertainties concerning global food market. What will this affect China's food security? What will the NDRC do to ensure the security of food and other key agricultural products? Thank you for your question. Since the 18th Party Congress, President Xi Jinping has made a series of important instructions on ensuring China's food security. It is important to keep the rice bowl of China's within our own hands. And over the past 10 years, China's grain output increased by around 70 million, with an annual increase of around 650 million over the past 7 years. Since this year, due to COVID-19 and the Ukraine situation, we are seeing rising prices globally and a slight increase of prices in China. But the price increase in China is significantly lower than that of the global market. China has sufficient supply of food, and we are seeing a good harvest this summer. Going forward, in order to ensure grain self-sufficiency and food security, there are risks and challenges, yet we have the conditions to achieve these goals. The NDRC will work with relevant departments to ensure that China has enough farmland, enough production. We will enhance the structure of production, stimulate consumption so as to better meet people's needs for a better life. First, to increase production. We will increase support for grain output. We will provide more subsidies for wheat and other cereals. We will protect the income of farmers and to motivate them to grow more agricultural products. Water resources will be channeled to the production of wheat and other agricultural products. We will increase more production of corns and focus on the production of soybeans, oilseeds, and peanut oil. Second, improve structure. We will take measures to better meet market demands and continue to advance modern agriculture. While ensuring China's food security, we will cultivate more agricultural products and at the same time focus on farmland sustainable development. We will cultivate new agricultural market entities, provide better services, and advance cultivation at an appropriate scale so as to enhance the level of modern agriculture. Third, to enhance capacity. We will step up efforts to protect farmland. We will implement relevant plans on building high-standard farmland and renovate lower standard farmland. Also, a large number of irrigation zones will be set up. We will carry out work to protect black farmlands in China and turn some of them into, if qualified, into farmlands. We'll also use science and technology to reinvigorate the agricultural sector and build capacities for modern agriculture. Fourth, we will guide consumption. We'll further develop the processing industry, the food processing industry, better protect the needs regarding to corns, develop the deep processing of corns, and develop relevant technologies to avoid taste. We will continue to implement laws against food waste, urge people to save food and energy, and guide people to turn from healthy consumption to steer away from overconsumption to healthy consumption, and encourage more people to save food and energy. Thank you.
谢谢主持人，澎湃新闻记者提问。
Thank you.
党的18大以来，我国能源产业持续快速发展，特别是
Since the 18th Party Congress, we're seeing rapid development in the energy sector, especially the new energy. What are the new plans in this regard in protecting China's energy security? And we're seeing projects on storage, hydropower, and the double 200. Can you brief us on this? Thank you.
I'll take your question. Over the past decade, we at the NDRC have been following the guidance of the Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era, earnestly implemented the decisions by the Party Central Committee and the State Council, and made hard efforts to ensure energy security. We have sped up the implementation of new strategies to ensure energy security and fostered a clean, low-carbon, secure, and efficient energy system. The building of the production, supply, storage, and distribution in terms of the entire energy mix and also area or category-specific systems have all been strengthening. This has laid a solid and reliable energy safeguard for national development. First, energy production capacity has been rising noticeably. The backward production has been phased out at a faster pace, and quality production is being unleashed. Coal capacity is improving. In 2021, the scale of single-pit coal mine production has been tripled or doubled the level in 2012. The production of large-scale coal mines with annual production of over 1.2 million tons account for more than 80% of the total. Electricity production, especially that generated by wind power and photovoltaic power, is also growing rapidly. By the end of last year, the total installed capacity was 2.38 billion kilowatts, doubling the figure in 2012. The annual growth rate was 8.4%. The installed capacity of wind power and photovoltaic power stood at 635 million kilowatts. That was nearly 90 times the figure in 2012. In terms of oil, last year, crude oil production nationwide was 199 million tons, staying at around 200 million tons for about 10 years. For 10 years, natural gas production was more than 207 billion cubic meters, and that almost doubled the figure in 2012. Second, energy supply guarantee has been enhanced.
北煤南运、
浩吉瓦日 Another important coal transportation railways have been up and running. The large-scale clean energy bases are now moving toward transmitting power to other places. By the end of 2021, the power transmission lines with over 220 kV lasted 843,000 kilometers. That was the 1.7 times the level in 2012. Oil and gas pipelines are being improved. By the end of last year, the mileage of oil and gas pipelines was 180,000 kilometers, almost doubling the length in 2012. These figures speak for themselves. Third, the capacity for energy storage has risen considerably. The capacity for emergency coal supply is also rising. Adjustment of power system and the ability for peak load adjustment is also rising. The flexible retrofit of coal-fired power generation units has been steadily moving forward. We have also been improving the storage system of oil and gas, and in an effort to put in place a stable and efficient storage system for oil and gas. Fourth, the energy market system is also getting better. We have established and steadily improved a unified coal transaction market nationwide. We advanced comprehensive reform of market-based electricity pricing. In terms of prices, it has been briefed by Deputy Secretary General Yinkai. Last year, the market transaction of electricity was 3.7 trillion kilowatt hour, accounting for 44.5% of the total power consumption, which is quite impressive. We have also been regulating the market order of oil products. And reform of oil and gas system have made substantial progress. Overall, we've seen faster progress in building and improving the production, supply, storage, and distribution system of energy, and the supply has been steadily guaranteed, which provided strong support for economic and social development. You also asked about pumped storage hydropower. With the rising share of renewables, including wind and solar power, we are now in a better position to adjust peak load adjustment with pumped storage hydropower. In recent years, such hydropower stations have been progressing steadily with a greater number and more localities having such facilities. By the end of last year, the installed capacity of pumped storage hydropower stations reached 36.39 million kilowatts, up by nearly 80% compared with 2012, and with an annual growth rate of 6.7%. Last year, the power generation of such hydropower stations totaled 39 billion kilowatts hour, and that was over 3 times that of 2012, with an annual average growth rate of 17.3%. This shows that these hydropower stations are highly efficient. Going forward, we will continue to encourage localities and companies to develop more pumped storage hydropower stations in an effort to enhance the supply of renewable energies and build a new type of electricity system. Thank you.
还有2位记者，我们最后2个问题吧，跟这边。
谢谢中新社记者提问。
Thank you. With China News Service,
10年里高技术产业规模实现了翻番，想请问国家
we've seen a doubling of high-tech industries over the past decade. What has been done in this area, and what are the plans going forward? Thank you.
这个问题请殷凯缪让回答。
行，感谢您的提问。党的18大以来，
Thank you for your question.
习近平总书
Since
记
the
对于牢
18th
固
Party
树立创新
Congress,
发展理念，
President Xi
深入实施
Jinping
创新
has
驱动发展战略，
made a number of
做出系列的
instructions
大部署
on
这10年
implementing
来呢，我国科技创新的
an
水平发生了
innovative-driven
历史性的
development
整体性
strategy,
和
and
格
we're
局性
seeing
的重大变化。
historical and structural changes
我国全
in
球的
China's
创新指数排名
overall innovation.
从10年前的第34
On
位
the
提
global
高到现在的
innovation
第12
index, China's position has went up from the 34th to the 12th, making its way
那
into
创新呢和
an
高技术发展
innovative
领域取得了4
country.
个方面的巨大成
We've
就。
made
做下介绍。
progress
第
in
一
the
个呢
following
是
four
高技
areas.
术产业体量更大。
First, a greater aggregate of the high-tech industry. Over the past 10 years, the operating revenue of such industries increased from 9.95 trillion yuan in 2012 to 19.91 trillion in 2021, doubling the number 10 years ago. And the share of high-tech manufacturing in large-scale industries increased from 9.4% to 15.1%. And the number of high-tech and manufacturing businesses increased from 246,000 in 2012 to 414,000 in 2021. So we are seeing a large number of leading high-tech businesses with international competitiveness growing up in China. Second, better quality. We are making much more investment into the high-tech industries. For instance, the share of high-tech R&D increased from 1.68% in 2012 to 2.67% in 2021. And now we are seeing phones, pads, and drones made in China entering international high-end markets. And many key technologies are going abroad. Third, a more solid foundation. Over the past 10 years, we prioritized basic researchers and frontline technologies. We've set up, for instance, the Shanghai Light Center and other major science and technology projects. And a number of integrated scientific and technological centers have been set up in Hefei, Shanghai, Beijing, and other areas. The number of PCT patent filing, in terms of PCT patent filing, China now ranks the first in China. We've also built the world's largest 5G network with over 1.032 billion netizens in 2021, making China the world's largest retail internet market. Fourth, we are seeing more vitality. Over the past 10 years, we've deepened institutions and facilitated a good environment for innovation, making China a hotland for innovation and entrepreneurship. The number of newly added market entities per day have continued to hit new records. In 2013, newly added market entities paid a total tax of 4.76 trillion yuan. In the areas of artificial intelligence, blockchain, quantum communications, smart driving, and other new technologies, China is now leading the world. In terms of delivery services, online medical care, online working, contactless economy are also booming, creating hundreds of millions of new jobs. Going forward, we will continue to act on Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics. We will continue to implement the innovation-driven development strategy, coordinate reform with development, focus our energy on developing new and high technologies, continue to help businesses and focus on key core technologies and projects. We will work to improve a better environment for innovation and entrepreneurship and continue to make unrelenting efforts to make China a world-leading country in science, technology, and innovation. Thank you. Last question, please. From Phoenix News. My question is about the Belt and Road. What progress have been made since its launch? And this year is also the 25th anniversary of Hong Kong's return to the motherland. And how would Hong Kong better contribute to the BRI? Thank you. In 2013, General Secretary Xi Jinping put forth the initiative of jointly building the Belt and Road. Over the past 9 years, under the principle of extensive consultation, joint contribution, and shared benefits, BRI cooperation has achieved solid and fruitful outcomes, benefiting the people and increasing China's international appeal and influence. Solid and good progress have been made on BRI cooperation over the past 9 years. First, we now have more friends on board for BRI cooperation. As the previous speakers mentioned, so far China has signed over 200 cooperation documents with 149 countries and 32 international organizations on BRI cooperation. And the BRI family has continued to expand. We are also synergizing with the development strategies of many other countries. BRI has been written into the outcome documents of international organizations such as the UN, the G20, APEC, and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Second, infrastructure connectivity has yielded fruitful results. A large number of projects have been implemented. The China-Laos Railway have been put into operation, and we're seeing growing volume of passenger cargo traffic along this railway. The Banal section of the Hungary-Serbia Railway has opened to traffic. Now the longest tunnel of the Jakarta-Bandung high-speed railway has been fully opened. Guarda Port has now become a regional logistics hub and a harbor industrial base. The China-Europe freight train has opened up a new trade channel for land trade. As of May 2022, the China-Europe freight train has operated a total of 55,493 trains, transporting 4.8 million TEUs of goods, providing strong support to keep industrial supply and supply chains stable. All these have shown that BRI cooperation is resilient, and many of these projects have now become flagship projects for BRI cooperation. Third, continued expansion of economic and trade cooperation. As of May 2022, China's trading goods with countries along the route totaled around $11.8 trillion, and China's non-financial direct investment in these countries was around $140 billion. China has signed AEO mutual recognition agreements with 32 BRI partners, further improving trade facilitation in the area. Fourth, investment and financing have become more diversified. We've carried out vaccine cooperation with relevant countries, bridging the vaccination gap. We have issued the Belt and Road Green Investment Principles. Fifth, we are seeing more investment and financing in BRI cooperation. Over the years, we've introduced documents such as the Belt and Road Financing Guiding Principles, further boosting investment connectivity among partner countries. And RMB cross-border payment has been steadily increasing in terms of its transaction volume and influence. Fifth, greater people-to-people exchanges. Projects such as Silk Road Journey and Luban workshops have been established. The Silk Road International Alliance of theaters, museums, art festivals, libraries, and art galleries are delivering good results. All these have promoted the understanding, communication, and recognition among different cultures. You mentioned Hong Kong and how Hong Kong can better contribute to BRI cooperation. This year marks the 25th anniversary of Hong Kong's return to the motherland. One country, two systems has entered a new stage. The central government has high expectations for the new SAR government, and so do people from all walks of life in Hong Kong. So centering on the 14th five-year plan, we will continue to support Hong Kong in contributing to BRI cooperation. We will fully support Hong Kong in leveraging its own advantages and strengths, enhance its competitiveness, and integrate Hong Kong into BRI cooperation. Hong Kong will also achieve prosperous development in contributing to BRI cooperation. Thank you. Thank you all. This is the end of today's press conference.
All right, well, we were hearing there from China's National Development and Reform Commission. That's the economic planning agency, and the subject was high-quality development. And this is part of a series of briefings on China's development in the past decade. Let's bring in Chen Jiahe now, Chief Investment Officer at Novum RK Technologies. Mr. Chen, good to have you with us. So first of all, high-quality development. So this is China's focus now after high-speed growth. So just to explain to us first, what defines this? What are some of the measures and parameters for high-quality development?
Well, when we look at the high-quality development, it is very key for China at the moment because China is currently having a per capita GDP of around $13,000. So we are facing what potentially called a middle income trap. If we can pass that trap, then we can go to the next threshold, say around $30,000. But if we can't pass that, that's a problem. So that's why China really needs high-quality development. That means development has to be, well, that actually means everywhere. Look at things like environment, technology, finance, good employment, high birth rate, all these kinds of things.
But of course, we can't move away entirely from the numbers. So as we heard there, the GDP growth rate target for 2022 is 5.5. Do you think this is a realistic target given all the COVID challenges amongst others, for example, with the Ukraine-Russia war? And is there a possibility China might even exceed this target at the end of the year?
Well, the GDP growth target has been set in the beginning of the year. We haven't really saw the coming of the COVID situation in Shanghai and Beijing. So that's really a problem here. But we have to know that the development of China's economy is a long-term thing. It's a very long-term thing. It has been there for over 4 decades. So taking a very temporary year, 1 year, whether we reach 5% or we don't reach 5%, or maybe we get even higher than 5% because currently we have a very high export growth. So that's not really important. Personally, I'm an investor, and I invest fully in Asia and Hong Kong market. Currently, our portfolio is 99%, and usually we have 98 or 99%. We never worry about the macroeconomy because we believe that Chinese economy will potentially go to somewhere between $30,000 to $40,000 per capita. So that's a very high level compared with what we're having now, maybe in the next 2 or 3 decades. So we're not worrying about that. So what we're worrying is that we pick the wrong companies with our investment. But for the economy in the long term, that's not something we're worrying.
Another thing we had officials say that is the promise to keep inflation in control as we're seeing